Hello, my name is Judy, and I'm a reborn artist. Have been for many years. I started in the end of 2004, and I've been doing this ever since. And what I wanted to talk to you about what I do. So some people are unfamiliar with what reborns are, and simply they started out as dolls that you bought out of Walmart or wherever you get a child's doll and stripping the paint, and if they had molded hair, which is painted hair and a design in the scalp to look like hair, and sanding that down. Well, we evolved. Some artists took to sculpting, and then they had kits that they made from those sculpts by sending them off. And to show you what a kit looks like, this is how it starts. I'm not going to show you the whole kit, but it has the arms and the legs. Sometimes they have a torso, but usually they have a cloth body, which gives them a more lifelike appeal. When they are through, they look like her. Both of these are Merida winners. If you ever heard of her, she's a well-known sculptor, and she does a lot of the micro premies, which I love, but they're little heads. Anyway, I do a lot of crafts, mostly. I like to make things. I don't know if you can see the mess to the side, but I actually built myself a crafting cabinet that if I ever decide to fold it down, I can close it up and it'll look like a little closet, so to speak. Or if I have guests and this is a spare bedroom, that's closed off and my mess is out the way. Like I said, I've been doing this since 2004. I hope you will stick with me. I'm new to making videos. I'm not real versed on talking, but I like to craft. And like I said, reborning has been my passion. I spend tons of money on kits. I've probably got more kits than I've got time. And to show you, here's one of my full-born babies, newborn. And this hair is what we call micro-rooted. That simply means using quality mohair, which a lot of, well, I won't say a lot of artists, but several artists have taken to processing, combing, cleaning, dyeing mohair with a specific dye, not just any dye, because otherwise it'll run off. I think they use an acid-based dye, but we found that when other reborners couldn't find quality hair, they started making it. And when we root, it's a hair at a time, no more than two, and that's what gives that natural reborn or newborn, if you would say, in a baby. And as you can see, he moves. And matter of fact, he won third place in a contest at a doll show I was at last year. And I like to tell people how this comes about. Some people think, oh, that's too much. But most of us as reborn artists do not get what we put into our work. You have to love what you're doing. I do. I mean, the cost of eyes. He's got glass eyes. I don't know if you can see that, but his eyes are glass. A lot of times we use acrylic, leaning more towards glass these days because some really look like real eyes, to put it bluntly. But some of the acrylics can look really good. And what I was going into is, like with me, I do all ethnicities. It's like there is nothing off limits to me if I can do it, but how that came about is becoming a self-taught artist. And I did take classes, through the years because I wanted to learn how to make my own colors, my browns. I would make up colors before I did the class, and my colors would be muddy, and I was throwing out the paints, and it was like, okay, what's wrong? Well, I didn't know how to fully get that color I wanted and how to correct it. I have since, thank you very much, learned how to correct my colors, and that's using primary colors, the red, the blue, and the yellow. And you can make buku colors out of that three, which is where a lot of colors come from, is those three primary colors. But anyway, getting to what I was talking about, I get off track. That's why I don't talk either. Um, they have cloth bodies, like in his case. We've got the onesie, and you can see he wears actual newborn, or some wear preemie, depending on how long they are. And he has a cloth body, which was, this one is white, which is usually out of doe suede, which I really prefer because it's soft, and he's floppy, so he's like a baby. And the way he's weighted, or all of my babies are weighted, I use what they call micro glass beads. They're real fine. Um, it's not sand. Never, ever, ever get a doll with sand, because sand harbors things, so to speak. And a lot of novice reborners think, oh, I can put sand in them. We don't like sand because they can have things. Rocks, uh, beans or rice, food products is a definite no-no. And the money that you spend to put out a quality baby, you don't get back your time. I mean, it takes, depending on how fast somebody roots the hair, and that's simply taking it's called a felting needle. If you're familiar with felting, we use the same thing, but we use a finer needle so that you can't look at that baby's head like you would a store-bought doll and see, clumps of hair coming out. Yeah, when you comb it, it looks full, but when you part it, you see plugs, and that's what we call it. But when it's micro-rooted, or now they've gone to mono-rooting, you don't see those holes. That's when you know your baby is done in a quality and effective way. The painting, I started, actually, how I started really is I saw my first Reborn on eBay. And I was looking for Indian dolls, and I couldn't figure out who had a baby on eBay. Well, I found out it was called a Reborn. And like I said, that came from using regular dolls and stripping off the factory paint and then repainting them. And they have more lifelike quality. They didn't have the red cheeks or the real pink lips that looked like they had lipstick on. You wanted the natural look to their lips. You want them to be matte, because one thing about some paints, like through my trial and error, I found a perfect matter that it holds up really good. But you have to keep in mind, Reborns, or your adult collectible doll, will start to shine if you're constantly changing clothes. The clothes act like a buffer, so you are possibly going to get shine. The hair, you can comb it, you can style it, but I always tell people, don't overdo it, because it won't grow back. And like I said, Good quality mohair can cost $75 for an ounce of hair. And imagine an ounce of hair. The length, you can probably get a few heads out of it, but if you wanted long hair and it was a toddler, which they take quite a bit of hair, but I, like I said, use quality mohair, and I've gotten it from several people that really take pride or took pride in their mohair. It's soft, it won't frizz up. When we started, the mohair we used, it was really ungodly to say the least, but it was what we knew. As time progressed and more people were like, no, that's not right. They purchased beautiful hair. They combed it, processed it. Why the mohair cost so much is because the effort they put into producing beautiful mohair that doesn't frizz up. You know, his hair is dry. And if I might still have one, showed you the difference in the hair. It's coarser looking, you know, I won't go into trying to bore you with details, but just trying to let people know how much an artist, speaking mostly for myself, but I know a lot of artists that do the same. They take pride in their work. They're not going to pump out babies, so to speak, to make a buck. True, they are expensive. Are they expensive as silicone? No. A silicone kit excuse me, I'm so sorry. Like I showed you, it'll start out the same way. However, it's solid. The whole head, the limbs are solid silicone, and that's where they get their weight from. When you root, since it's a solid head, like there, I can root it, see the shafts coming through, glue it down, let it dry, and the hair is in. In a silicone, it's really stuck in. That's all you can do. But they're beautiful. They feel soft and squishy, you know, like a baby. But they're very expensive. Like I said, a kit would cost a good, well-known artist that does silicone kits. It can cost you $500 to $600, maybe a little more, depending on what that kit is and the type of silicone they use. I myself would not do silicone babies. The reason being is the cost, and will you sell it? Because if you pay $550 for a kit, well, there's 1,000, 1,100 right there. So that's just to get the money back for the kit to buy another kit. Now you got the mohair, you have the body, you have the paints. You have to use specific paints. You can't use, like I love using what we call acrylics. They're air dry paints. But now they make specific paints for our reborns so that it's suited to our vinyl. And you can see, you know, he's got the little knees, the toenails. I don't know if this is a good picture for you to see. The toenails are painted. Everything is painted by hand. It's not manufactured. So when you see a reborn and it's a good reborn, they can run you $500 or $600. But that person is not getting their time out of it. You spend hours painting, not so bad, but rooting, you know, then you have to get the pictures, you know, you have to have a good camera. You want to see the baby like you would see it if you were actually holding it. And I love to take pictures of them once I've done them, and it makes a difference on what that person sees in those pictures, because I want you to see that baby when you get that baby, not, oh, that baby doesn't look the same, because all cameras are not the same. Your computer monitor will show a different color from somebody else's if you're strictly using your tablet or a cell phone. Same thing. It's a variation in the colors because it could be based on the quality of that tablet or that cell phone. One baby might look real red, but they're not, orange, and that depends on how the pictures were taken by that artist or what they used to take the pictures. And like I said, when you purchase a reborn, I want you to be aware of the time. I've had people say, well, could you send me one for free? No, it wasn't free for me. I put time in. Time I will never recoup, but I don't care about the time as much as I care about the quality of the baby that I do. I've got some I've kept. And in a sense, I like that fact because then I can see, are they going to maintain their coloring? Are they going to get yellower or redder, and red and yellow are colors that can bleed through. Blue will bleed through as well. Some of them look purple. Years ago when we used the dolls, which that was one thing I'm so glad I never did, they used to pour acrylic paint inside the hollow parts of the limbs and head and use a lavender paint to give it more coloring because, of course, it'll show through the vinyl. Well, what they found through years was those acrylic paints leached through. So now you got this blue baby, purplish baby, and it's not funny, but when you think about it, the stuff that we learned the hard way. For example, people say they have this squishy stuff. It's really silicone, little squishy balls, and you put it in the baby's butt, gives them a nice little squishy butt, or you can put it in the tummy section. But it really is only suited for the body because so many people put those squishy pellets in the arms and the limbs. We just say the limbs. What happens, silicone and vinyl together is a no-no. It will make a gooey mess. People learn that the hard way. I never understood why would you put silicone squishy pellets in vinyl anyway. It's not what I would call soft. It's not going to give it true weight, but I would and have put it in the belly and the butt. So just giving you a brief lesson on why reborns are not cheap. And let's say the well-known artists, yeah, they get top dollar because they're out there. I call myself a low-profile artist for the simple fact I don't paint. I have to back up, start over, painting this kid or that kid. And I like to finish each baby before I paint another baby. I tried painting up this kid, painting up that kid, and all I got to do is root the hair. That didn't work for me. I applaud anybody that can paint multiple dolls. As I said, they are dolls, and then, root them at their leisure. I'm not one of those. And like I said, some people, you've probably never heard of me. Some people do know me. And I started doing I'm learning to do videos. So if this is not the greatest video, I apologize. I'm learning. It's like learning the reborns. I had to learn them until I got them where I felt like, okay, now I can call myself a professional reborn artist. And I have a website, I have a store, and a lot of the babies that I have available. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do a spring clean out because I need to get these babies out because I don't like painting them and I still have babies. Like I said, I don't collect them. My first reborn was a reborn that I bought. I mean, eventually I got, some bigger dolls, toddler size, and redid them for myself. But I'm not an avid collector of them. I just love painting them. I love when people let me know that they are in love. They, you know, whatever, just adored them. And that in itself makes me feel good. That to me is the payment of my time. And I'm not going to bore you with a lot of other things. If you have any questions in regards to how this art came about, or how you could do, or what the do's and don'ts are that I've learned along the way, everybody is different. Every artist is different. Ask, and I'll do my best to answer it. I might be a little slow because I'm also, like I said, still learning the YouTube thing and was that Instagram. I just started Instagram. I had my neighbor help me get that set up. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope I haven't put you to sleep. And I wish all of you that have viewed this and stuck with it a very happy Easter. I hope and pray that you will find your niche in life like I have.